Still no real rhyme or rhythm as to which one starts.
No, we'll have to see how it does work out as EDG are going to start things off on the blue side here for this game. Hecarim's the first ban there. It's a smart one. Callista joins soon after as well. We actually do have a LeBlanc there, the ban for King. Almost always banned against Pawn. And he hits another ban as well with Azir.
Blue side Hecarim ban, so Amazing J not going to be picking up his most known champion. I think he actually ended up playing more Gnar than Hecarim by the end of the split, but definitely was a pioneer on that Hecarim top.
Was indeed an Amazing J. Pioneered quite a few things in the top side, was one of the best looking players of his old team, Energy Pacemaker, of course, who no longer playing in the LPL this particular season. And we're at the last ban through here for EDG. We've always seen strong picks and bans from this side, and with a new lineup here, especially at least for game number one, be curious to see what else they can mix into the roster, as Vladimir is actually the final ban.
Feels like King are almost priced into 3 mid lane bans. Cassiopeia makes it through picks and bans, not even the skill matchup of Azir available. You have to say the Rek'Sai looks pretty tasty though, so might have to be the first pick, but not many answers to Cassiopeia as Amazing J, another one of our analysts, Spawn smiling somewhere. But Rek'Sai, you think you have to pick it up as the first pick?
I think so too, but look, Amazing J having some fun, smiling here in his first game on top talent here in China on EDG. Has played Garen last season in competitive, so don't write it off just yet, but it is going to be Rek'Sai first pick for Clearlove.
And you know he wants to debut something. Teleport, Ignite, Hecarim, outside just a few teams in the world, kind of left the scene. It's all about Teleport Smite now, so he needs to really debut something different as Cola flashes the game.
Yeah, there's a Teemo hovering there as well. King going to consider a couple other picks. Maokai actually already locked in for Cola, and Gragas would be a fine answer in the jungle for Huey.
A lot of power coming through with the first 2 picks. Maokai very reliable. Cassiopeia is really tantalizing as a pick that's available. I'm sure Pawn plays it. Don't know much about Korn. I think he played it a couple of times. It wasn't really one of his core champions. He had real peaks and troughs of performance, did Korn. Was really trying to push it a bit too far with champions like Lux that he really never managed to look convincing on. When he played the standard, his Ahri in particular was very impressive.
Yeah, Korn's got a really weird champion pool. It's sort of Orianna, Ahri, which are 2 different champions. LeBlanc sort of in the middle there as well. But
I'm worried about Deft and Mako getting Annie and Sivir in
That's
this game.
true, but Sivir is going through. Fizz might actually be the selection. Is locked in there. And that could be Amazing J's Fizz as well. He actually does have it in his last 5 picks.
I don't know, but it's too suspicious, right? Why do you pick Fizz, blind pick early? We know Pawn loves this champion, plays so much Fizz. Even when it doesn't fit the comp, he's like, I'm picking Fizz, guys. It seems to be his way, but it's suspicious to see it that early in the picks and bans.
It is indeed, and I don't think we got a talent game from him last season, but we did get a couple Fizz games, including one
we
that he
can't complain about too
on.
much. There was no Shaco, but everything else was around.
That's true. There was some Vegas happening. We got some Dravens as well coming in for Crystal. All sorts of shenanigans here in the LPL as King gonna select their next 2 picks. It is Nautilus Solution, probably for the bottom lane.
Waiting to see what's left. It's actually quite a big question mark. Amazing Day showing the Teleport Smite, so I guess we don't know whether to expect a top lane Smite Fizz. It's possible.
It is.
Yeah, a lot of questions and no real answers at this present point. They're flashing the Morgana, could be a Morgana mid for all we know. Annie is available. Be very surprised to see them not go for Sivir.
Oh my god.
It's there.
Varus gets locked in there. That's a champion for Deft from a long time ago.
It's not a champion
it's
for
not
Deft.
a champion for Deft. Exactly. No. That's Pawn's champion, I guess, as Morgana might be able to round things out. Gonna take a bit more time to breathe here. I wonder what Mako's gonna do. I assume he's gonna lock in this Morgana here. Wants a bit more protection for these double carries, but that's a Varus there as their last pick.
I love the fact that, I mean, Morgana, even though she's super flexible, at this point, I has to be going support, you'd imagine. Everyone else, kind of nebulous. It's gonna be Varus mid. Unicorns of Love, of course, famously played this in the EULCS finals. Very, very strong with the buffs towards the arrow, the Q. Much shorter cooldown, because when you're channeling it, the cooldown reduction is already affecting at that point. This is actually something that Fake has been practicing in solo queue. I've been watching his stream on the Hide on Bush account, practicing it. Obviously, it's infecting the Korean champion pool. Varus mid can be very, very powerful and has a low item threshold to be relevant. A tier for a bit of mana sustain, getting some armor penetration. The base values are so high on that Q that it can be very, very relevant. And you see a very defensive choice. They're going to go with the Orianna to match the Varus in the mid, the Sivir in the mid. It's going to be Varus, surely.
Look at Deft and Pawn just having some fun there. I think probably have to stop swapping because they need to make sure they're locked in, but should be Varus mid at this point. Colin does last pick his Orianna.
I assume it's still going to be Cinderhulk coming through from Amazing J, but there's no guarantees.
No, and there's Pawn looking very majestic there in the mid lane. Very pretty there with his little angel wings. And there's a Crystalline Flask because, of course, it's Pawn. He always starts Flask.
And look, Doran Blade is a decent choice, but the mana sustain is the big issue. It's a very high base mana cost coming onto your Q, and it's on such a low cooldown as the Chroma, again, looking very majestic, is Amazing J. It's Pokerina time.
Good binding there. Pawn as well coming through. Al not paying attention. Gets over the wall with the E. No one follows in with a flash, but Lucian chunked out early.
And Al actually not having to skill, only having to skill E, not even having to flash. That's the minimum you'd expect in this situation.
Depth looking. Mako almost gets a binding, but a good block there by Sync Dream means that Lucian does get back safety, but that was very scary.
Wow. But I mean, the fact that he didn't even have to flash or heal showed on the one side the fact, you know, the option of skilling the Relentless Pursuit was very adept. Good thing he didn't skill that Q for a bit of power early. But more importantly, just a bit of confidence to understand the situation, know the limits, know how much damage all the abilities being thrown at you do, and not panic flash heal.
Yeah, EDG not committing either. No summoners used anywhere actually after that. Just a couple of level 1 spells exchanged. So Korn will settle into the mid lane. Down the bottom, it seems like we will have standard lanes. And Amazing J currently doing the wolf camp for himself as well.
Amazing J, he always pushes the envelope. Very intrigued to see what is the jungle choice. You have to imagine Sindog. It's hard to pick up, hard to pass up, but then are we going to expect a full tank? Fizz, is he still going to go the on-hit build despite the fact that the W changes were about trying to eradicate that playstyle? Lots of questions. Magus is not a bad enchant to pick up at all. Very gold efficient. But we'll have to wait and see.
We will indeed. No AP runes, I can tell you, at least on the Fizz, so might be looking for more of that Bruiser style. Pawn in the mid side. Just going to approach Korn here. And again, this matchup, I mean, Varus in general, always been a strong laner in the bottom side. That does hold true in mid as well.
And the irony is that it's not till level 9 that Orianna has instant mid wave clear. By then, if you channel up your arrow, it actually does quite a lot of wave clearing himself. The damage is bottom.
Oh, Def, very smart stuff.
Oh.
One last auto gets the kill. And EDG's duo have seen it time and time again. They are so aggressive.
Yeah, he moves on to Morgana, but same sort of playstyle. Ping level 2, instant all-in. The bindings hit razor sharp. And Sync Dream, there's nothing he can do.
I don't think Mako's missed a binding so far, and Mako and Deft starting out on the foot that they just left off on after MSI. They don't 2v2 that often, but when they do, this is what happens.
Absolutely. Now Pawn has wave control in mid. You mentioned it right towards the tail end of the pick ban. Fizz is a very strong laning matchup against the Maokai. A lot of kill pressure coming through. Whatever the build you go through, just get some points into that W, and the trades Maokai just can't deal with. You're winning bottom lane, you got pressure in mid, you got a strong ganking jungler. Feels like an EDG game.
It does indeed. And Clearlove happily farming while his lanes do some winning for him. So he's going to be happy. He doesn't need to get too aggressive with the ganks. And I have to say, for a lot of early ganking that Clearlove did last season at the start of it, he's really toned down because he just has so much faith in his laners.
And the meta changed as well. He was playing champions like Lee Sin on patch 5.4 and just had to be really assertive. But he just doesn't have to do that anymore. The Cinderhulk meta changes thing a bit. It's still more proactive than kind of the Clearlove we talk about with more negative tones when it comes to being really passive and just not impacting the lanes, being invisible but not playing Evelynn, if you know what I mean. He's been a lot better than that, and you can see some aggression coming out into Huey. Looked to contest for the Scuttle Crab, but too late.
Yeah, couldn't get it, but did smite actually that has a Stalker's Blade done already. So able to get some good damage down, but no kill forthcoming there over onto Huey. So we'll keep his double buffs just for now as Sync Dream. Trying to get a couple wards down here and there as Pawn. Actually trying to zone Orianna, but Korn doing a great job so far keeping competitive in CS.
575 range. Orianna doesn't have that many pushing options, doesn't have the short cooldowns on command attack to really go through multiple rotations. Ours level 2 and really needs help.
Yeah, we can see Deft was not a lane bully early on in his career, but has evolved in China to really become both a dominant team fighter and a dominant laner. And this is the matchup you can see. I think Mako helps a lot there, but Deft, when he smells blood, he just keeps you trapped forever.
Yeah, I don't want to really focus too much on the support. Deft's definitely picked up, but Mako, man, what a improvement he has been over Mouse at the start of last season. It was ever since they lost that match against Snake 2-0 with Mouse, they changed the support. We didn't know anything about Mako, a pure rookie. but the amount of a controlled aggression that Mako brings out the best in Deft.
Yeah, doesn't need his Annie right now, and Deft going to continue harassing under turret, clearing out minion waves as best he can. It's 39-19 in the bottom side, so 20 CS ahead already.
And just looking to pick up the freeze once again. No, just happy to push. They had the freeze option. There was multiple levels advantage coming through from Sivir, but Sivir happy to just wave clear to increase the pressure. Opens up a lot of space for Clearlove to do work, but Clearlove doing what he does best. Passively fun.
I mean, the nice thing is that Clearlove can go and take jungle from Huey now because every one of his lanes is pushed up as well. So first gank going to come down to the bottom side. Huey will visit to get some pressure down, but the ward will spot them off, and EDG will put their vision back down. 6 minutes in, we've already had a kill, and look, 1,000 gold up already.
That's a massive lead. The 400 gold from the first spot, but 600 just from the farming in the bottom lane especially. King doing everything they can to relieve pressure off this ward, and the jungler has to show Clearlove's in the area.
Yeah, Mako wants to use that Black Shield, does nail the binding. I want to sink to Clearlove comes in. Prey Seeker does land. Not quite enough damage as Deft is chasing him, but they'll get the pink ward instead, and Nautilus going to be forced out of the lane once more.
Just so much more pressure coming out from Deft with the pickaxe. It's pickaxe against just a Doran Blade, which is a massive advantage. And Clearlove, he can counter jungle, he can passively farm. Varus is even just straight up winning this mid lane matchup. Everything going well for EDG.
Yeah, Skirmisher Saber just completed for Amazing J as well, so he's got that first part of his jungle item. With the Ruby Crystal, have to imagine it is a Cinder Hulk coming through, so I think at least going to be the start of maybe Bruiser Fizz here.
Bruiser Fizz was target nerf, but it's still just fine. The big difference, the big change they did is on the Seastone Trident W, the original change to kind of nerf AP Fizz was to move the on-hit damage to the passive and the % health damage to the active. So what that caused was that without having to use the spell, i.e. permanently, you could do that on-hit max W build and get lots of good trade damage in with auto. So you prioritize attack speed and other, Triforce and other auto-attack based builds. Whereas now, moving the percentage health damage to the W incentivizes just poking because the % health damage doesn't require attack speed to be relevant. It took away the AD build. Huey's coming in.
Yeah, Deft coming in, good spell shield and Black Shield there coming through. Actually, even Malka here trying to get a gank. Walked down to lane, didn't even teleport because, he's in the top side farming. Would rather 1v1 the Skirmisher Saber Fizz than stick in this lane any longer.
Very interesting to see, and there's a lot of kill pressure that's going to come through from Amazing J, even though he hasn't built any attack damage items or doesn't have any ability power. I don't think he's been Sin, so he's lying and lining up his praise. Only level 4.
Yes, Amazing J's level 7, does have the ulti. Now level 5, but that might not be enough here at this stage. Lucian has to be careful sticking the creep wave, and Amazing J buys enough time but decides it's not worth the brush gang and just goes back to farming.
And just to complete the thought on the change to Bruiser Fizz, with the changes now, because you don't have permanent on-hit damage, now that on-hit damage is only during the, I believe, 5-second uptime on the Seastone Trident, you just get less of that on-hit damage in, therefore you do less trade damage. It really promotes the burst playstyle with AP rather than the AD, but it doesn't completely trivialize Bruiser Fizz.
No, I mean, Fizz is just so sticky and so annoying that you can just get on a carry and make their life miserable, especially with Skirmisher Saber acting as almost a mini exhaust pawn. Looking good there as well. Pickaxe actually with a tier, so I believe that's Manamune coming through.
It will definitely be Manamune. It's the standard build is Manamune into armor penetration. You don't really need more AD on top of that. Of course, you'll build it just to amplify your poke damage. It's just the cooldowns just get so obnoxious. Maybe Black Cleaver will be the build as a consideration. Although, again, you're more about long-range poke, so when you're going for poke, you want more the flat penetration than the stacking penetration. But it's an option because CDR, armor penetration, that's what you're all about as mid lane Varus.
Pawn looking good right now. Decent CS lead, but Colin will catch up. As you can see, the poke just missing there for Pawn.
Not a very wide skill shot, so you definitely have to be on point. But with how short the cooldown is, with the cooldown refresh mechanic, plenty of Qs going to come out.
You can see even Sync Dream could be in trouble. Hook does land though. Good shockwave there for Con. Barriers down as well. Clearlove's going to join the party. Teleports in as well. Clearlove now going to have to back away. Great ulti there by Huey. Going to move him back in. And Clearlove still alive. Gets a knock up there. Black Shield for Mako as well. Will keep him alive for just a bit longer. Flash auto is going to give Con the kill though. And Clearlove finally caught out of position.
And crucially, double buffs as far as I can tell. Red buff was riding to complement the blue buff that Corner already picked up. Maybe a re-engage.
Mako is level 6, but doesn't want to pull the trigger on the ulti just yet. No one quite low enough there to go in, and the target they caught too tanky, unfortunately. So no extra kills or rotation, maybe for a turret, but Poke going to come through for Pawn as well. Decent siege actually here from EDG.
I mean, look, it's 280 carries effectively at this point, although Pawn won't be really traditional, so the standing damage won't be as strong. the wave clear and the turret damage is very high.
Yeah, looking good there as they're going to mow down the mending waves here. Deft actually doesn't even have the turret in bottom lane, would just rather pick up the mid lane turret right now for his team. So a smart rotation after a bit of a scuffle. Clearlove die, but they get the mid turret.
And look, Control Mages not having a turret to go back to makes them very, very gankable. Clearlove can have his tail between his legs a little bit, having died and given away the kill. Is still going to have many, many angles to burrow in as Rek'Sai, look for the kill in mid. Between the knock-up on the unburrow and the Chain of Corruption coming through from Pawn, there's a lot of kill pressure onto this Orianna.
You see Lucian still up here as well, but Amazing J still ahead by 2 levels here, so Lucian does have to respect the all-in potential from the Fizz. We've got a pickaxe and a BF sword with the Avarice Blade there for Def, so everyone going for this quick Avarice Blade on their Sivir, it seems like. Manamino Longsword done there for Pawn, and other than that, Cinderhawk now completed for Clearlove.
It's a snowball choice going for the Avarice Blade. When you're already winning, either when you buy an early-ish Avarice Blade, you're either buying it because you've given up on lane, you want to pick up as much gold as possible passively, or you're winning by so much that you can get everything, basically. It's the old GP10 effect, and it works great.
I mean, I think with Sivir especially, given that she just wants to hoover up mending waves for quite a while, it does add up quite nicely. So I like the pick up here. I've seen Crystal and all the other Sivir players today and yesterday do it, so makes sense here. And we can see a Dragon actually snuck completely away by Clearlove. So quick, the camera couldn't catch it.
There's just no pressure whatsoever on the bottom side. The top lane has already moved. Mako's going for the kill because, of course, no one else on this side of the map for King.
Flash not enough. That Clearlove coming through. Teleports down there as well. Knockup does come in. Def's already here, and that's a clean kill. Mako, lovely initiation.
Don't really think they needed the teleport, you'd have to think. Amazing J leaves top. I guess he was just relegated to the fact that he was probably going to have to watch the turret go down in bot. They're going to, at minimum, get this turret in mid, and they just keep pushing across the map.
And you can see we've got Cinderhawk completed now for Amazing J, so does opt for that jungle item. Amplifying Tome probably indicates a Sheen to me, so maybe going for a Trinity Force somewhere along the way, but remains to be seen what Fizz does want to do from the top lane.
That Cleaver doesn't make much sense on Fizz, given they doesn't do very much physical damage outside of just sheer auto attacks, so Trinity Force is probably what you're priced into. Honestly, the best thing I can say about the Fizz choice in this situation is it's going to fulfill a similar result to the Trundle vs Maokai matchup in that it makes Maokai very honest in a 1v1 split pushing sense, but definitely not an ideal pick. A bit of out-of-the-box thinking. Amazing J style through and through.
It is. I mean, it's his first game of the season on his new team. He's coming in for the first game on the starting roster. Better mix it up on Amazing Day, because that's what you and the fans and probably your team want.
The fan support will definitely be there for Amazing J. Doesn't play boring champions like Gnar or anything meta. Garen and Fizz.
He does play Gnar, actually, but also Garen and Fizz. That's what makes him special, as Huey does eat a binding there from Morgana. Mako on the point with these skill shots here from this champion. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet so far. Def just going to re-rotate here and try and take more structures.
I actually like the fact that he's moved away from the Annie. Speaking of damage, my goodness.
Oh, that is damage there onto both of them, actually, as Al gets the culling down Deft. Again, just face tanks a chunk of it there, so a bit too aggressive perhaps, but Clearlove rotating in as well means they really want to take these turrets.
Showing them Morgana makes sense for comp. As you mentioned, they have Varus, Sivir, who both are very, very squishy backliners. But honestly, in general, the Annie's being nerfed next patch. Okay, attack range is not going to change her main function in skirmishes, but will change her laning phase. Just keep practicing these other champions. Move on to your repertoire. There was never any doubt that Mako could play Morgana, but Annie only or Annie priority might not be the way after the change to attack range.
Be interesting to see what happens here as Def keeps cleaning up mending waves. Infinity Edge has been completed now as well, so very strong in this particular lane. And you can see King are bringing up Huey constantly to the top side of the map as well, just trying to defend what at this point looks like an inevitable 3v3, possibly even a Clearlove special turret dive.
Clearlove's very, very tanky already. Doesn't have the giant spell to his name. No early Warmogs like MLXG in the previous game, but still very, very strong and able to just disregard the jungle control of Huey. Usually we're talking about Gragas being able to outpressure or match a Rek'Sai. Definitely not the case this game.
No, not at all, as Pawn continues to farm up there. 128 to 121. Lots of farm there for those mid laners. Clearlove going to take away the Raptors now as well, so sort of a similar look. And that gold lead stacking up quite quickly already. 4,500 gold for EDG. Maybe make it 5.5 there as they get a turret gold down as well. And that's the 3 outers already done. Looking an awful lot like some old Corki games.
The fast push meta without Corki, I was going to say myself, is super surprising to see, especially when it's not like they went very obnoxious win lane, win game champion. Sure, Fizz is favorable against Maokai, but definitely doesn't have pushing choices in that lane. It usually just evolves with item pickups that he has kill pressure. Varus versus Orianna. Orianna should be able to match a little bit better than the matchup went, but it went about as expected. It's just EDG just throwing pedal to the metal, going really, really aggressive. 3 outer turrets at 15 minutes is a great clip, and they're not going to stop here.
No, that Dragon actually going to be coming up in a couple minutes as well. EDG already have the first, going to look to snowball and get the second, and we've seen this from them all spring split. Get ahead, start to snowball the objectives, take out the turrets, and just take over the map.
Yeah, flat armor penetration picked up with the Brutalizer. Patch 5.8, so I believe, yeah, Blackcleave, of course, has been changed, so only Yoma's Ghostblade, probably not even going to be evolved at any point, just going to stick with the Brutalizer. CDR boots, maybe a Bloodthirster if he's feeling threatened, and then just straight into the last one.
Love coming in, Mako actually good ulti onto Cole, Tether does stay, Stun comes in, Def with the damage, and Maokai does get felled for Def's 3rd kill of the game.
And no one is tanky to 3 members at 16 minutes into the game, so easy to dive even onto the usually super tank Maokai. They're going to keep pushing. Sync Dream and Ao are able to pick up the turret and bot.
Gonna get the turret, but Al might be in trouble. Fish does
Nice
land.
Fish.
Amazing J, very nice skill shot there. Skirmisher Saber down as well. Culling fade away there, but Amazing J kills him with the dot damage, maxing that W, and gets a double kill, 1v2.
1v2 action by the debuting Amazing J. No stranger to the LPL, but probably a stranger to double kills on Fizz 1v2.
Looking good there. The Shin doing a lot of work there. Skirmisher Saber with the challenging smite, also hurting Al, who's just been caught so far behind this game. Just look down at the CS as Pawn almost takes away a mid turret for himself as well. Pawn, by the way, usually roaming with his team, just happily farming in the mid so far, has not left.
And look, there's been no time in the last few months where you haven't been excited to be an EDG fan. Suddenly seeing an impressive performance on a new pick like Amazing J on Fizz, more reasons to get excited for EDG, because if they can be strategic about how they play their 2 top-tier top laners, which Amazing J still has to prove to some degree, but has always had the potential to evolve into a very strong top laner, more flexibility for a team that's already excelled on the world stage is an exciting place to be.
It is indeed, and I think growing that team into a squad is the important thing for EDG. We saw some of their subs, we saw you play. Things are a bit different now, so solidifying that roster, giving them more options, and honestly just giving your players potentially time for breaks, especially if Pawn maybe gets, hopefully doesn't get injured again. There's some skill shots coming through, but Def and Mako sit on top of a wall. They'll clear it out, because Dragon, it's back alive.
Dragon's alive. I just don't know how you can fight for it if your king is 6,500 plus gold behind. Amazing J not group, but has teleport available. There's the Rek'Sai, so the first global's used, and we're just waiting to see if they have enough pressure to actually force Fizz into using his teleport.
And great timing here as well. Pawn actually got blue buff as Korn, takes a big chunk of damage. Sync Dream looks for a hook, doesn't find it, eats an arrow instead, and Pawn, he is just chugging these arrows out.
Yeah, but the cooldown's so low. It doesn't have a lot of mana though, only the mana regen, waiting for the Chain of Corruption.
Amazing J coming in. Dragon is going to go over to someone. No, they just fight instead. Nautilus goes down to Amazing J as he dives in. Ow! Gets wrecked by Fizz, and Amazing J gets a double. Huey nowhere near to secure the Dragon. Clear Love, no depth, just goes over and auto attacks it instead. And EDG is still team fighting well. That's going to be 4 kills as Con gets caught. Cleanse does not work, unfortunately. There is going to be safe for a bit longer. Clear Love looks for the Prey Seeker, misses, but does get the kill.
I just don't understand why King were looking to fight in that particular objective. Maybe send 1 or 2 members to try to go for a very, very
here's the
optimistic steal. And speaking of optimism, Huey's dead.
Late ace here, does get smite as well. Amazing J going to get his 3rd kill of the exchange as that dot damage doesn't even dive in. It's just so much work.
When they announced Amazing J on the roster, you saw the reason for it. It's a bit more flexibility. I think the first reaction had to be a bit of puzzlement. Korra's very, very good, and Amazing J's team was bad, but he always had those flashes of brilliance, and it's often been the case that players can step up from teams that aren't performing well and just play with so much more confidence and ability when they can really take the shackles off on a top team like EDG, and Amazing J's fitting in just fine.
He is, and as I said, the thing that he does bring over Korra is more of that carry potential. Korra can play Castan, he can play Hecarim, but he's mostly on Maokai, Nas, sometimes Rumble duty, very utility, team fight focused. Amazing J brings the top Fizz, plays the Garen. He's more of a carry style player. He was that on Energy Pacemaker last season, and maybe here again on EDG.
I won't quite go to your extent, because I believe Korra is a very strong carry player. The thing that Amazing J brings, you're scouting against EDG. You know all about the Na, you know all about the top picks. You ban out Korra, you get him in a bad position. Somehow, miraculously, you get that win over EDG. EDG throw in Amazing J. There is no playbook that tells you what Amazing J is going to play. I'm not even convinced Amazing J knows what Amazing J is going to play. That guy can play off-meta picks. That guy can innovate with the likes of Teleport Ignite. And having that wild card on your team makes your squad that much stronger.
It does, as Mako does hit a Shockwave. Nautilus ult as well. Deft going to try and save him. Varus ult does miss there, but Clearlove diving straight in. Culling goes in and chunks out Deft, but Clearlove still going. Amazing J just diving into the backlines now as well. Fisher's Sync Dream, good hook to keep him safe, but 1 kill down already. Clearlove chasing out, going to just dive into the turret and try and take him out. Amazing J going to go in instead, gets the double, then the triple, and this Fish is doing business.
8-0 legendary on his first outing is Amazing J. Man, EDG still pretty good.
Still really good here. 10,000 gold, maybe 12,000 gold at this point. Ahead already. Going to go in for a Baron. It's an early one. I would normally call it an EDG Baron, but when you're this far ahead, it's just a standard Baron.
Absolutely. They're just so far ahead. They got no health, but it doesn't matter. Deft's going to have to do a bit of tanking. Pawn reluctantly might have to as well, but it's going to be a free Baron. King aren't even in the same area code as EDG as a team or for this Baron, and it's an easy one for EDG.
Yeah, and King struggling here with a couple of substitutes moving through now as well. Not a whole lot left in the tank, unfortunately, for them. And EDG, known for closing out games with ruthless efficiency. We saw in the last series, took both M3 and RNG maybe a little longer than we expected to close out games once they were ahead. But EDG, they are not a team to let go of a lead. Once they have it, they run straight to the finish line with it as Pawn.
Nope.
Doesn't quite steal away the red buff, but a good try.
Yeah, he made very optimistic, but a good try. Very high base damage on that. So Amazing J finds another kill.
Finds Sync Dream. That's his 9th kill of the game. Gonna go back in here, potentially diving in. Shockwave does clip him there. Amazing J needs playful tricks to back. Does use it, but it's not enough as Death diving back in with the help of the Baron buff. Mako coming in as well. Clearlove trying to avenge his new teammate. Black Shield keeps Death safe. Flashes forward. Spell Shield goes in onto our 1v3. Is gonna die, but Mako will lock in. Gets the ulti. There's the 2 kills actually coming through. Korn gonna get chased down now as well. Needs to dodge a skill shot, but will do. No, not quite. Clearlove is gonna tunnel in. Good cleanse there from Korn as Clearlove now caught well and truly out of position. Has to walk out of the base, and it's a 2 for 2, but doesn't really matter.
Yeah, EDG are just having fun. 16 to 3 is your kill score. Pawn's able to bring up the minion line. He's a ranged auto attacker. Not quite an AD carry per se, definitely an AD caster with the build I predicted. This is basically standard Power of Evil style Varus. Faker's trying it, Pawn's breaking it out. There's no reason it won't come into the meta page time, because although it doesn't always have the strongest laning, especially in the early levels, the fact that you can do 500-600 damage out of vision unpredictably is always going to make a champion viable. It's why AP Cogmore always comes in and out of the meta depending on the champion pool and how many assassins have his name tattooed on their forehead. And Varus is just a new one to add to the pool.
Yeah, great to see here. Unfortunately, the bad news here for Pawn's Varus is we haven't really got to see it in action. It's been all about Def's early aggression with Mako, Clearlove being Clearlove, and Amazing J's debut on EDG at 9-1-1. We'll be sad to have the death, but what a breakout performance here on his new team.
Absolutely. I guess it's surprising to some degree just because of his previous team's fortunes, but we always saw the flashes of brilliance, and if they can start to cement into more extended periods of brilliance and again help the squad, because you have to think Cora will still be the lead top laner for this team. It's just another thing. Adding squad League of Legends to what was already a winning 5 is impressive.
Yeah, Mako goes down there to Cole. A bit of a missing edge by EDG. Pawn, good ulti there onto Huey, lands in, and that's going to be another kill. Cola going to go down. That's 2 actually now, as it's 2 for 1. Amazing J diving in once out. Going to try and find him, just missing, I believe, with the Urchin Strike getting out of range. Double kill though for Siva. Korn maybe going to get dove as well. Pawn doing massive damage. Amazing J dives into the back line with the playful Trickster. That's 4 kills for 2. The jungler and support dead, but EDG just keep the train rolling.
Double 80 carries, so the turrets will fall very, very quickly. 24 minutes into the game. It's actually surprising that the fact that the death time is quite as long as they are, but it's going to be at minimum an inhibitor turret for EDG.
I think the death timers have more to do with just how many kills they're getting consecutively. Inhibitors not fall, but the bottom lane inhibitor turret will go with it. Dragon is back alive. If that's something EDG decide they also need in this game, but you look down the inventories on the left and there are so many items in them.
And that's just the reality. Staggered death time has been the reason why we see some of them looking a bit longer. The fights are just going, they're not fights, let's be real. It's just skirmishes happening between very, very powerful, 2,000 gold on average ahead. I mean, 16,500 gold is the lead. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting, and EDG picking on where they left off at the start of the season here. Maybe with some new picks, a new player in there as well, but still looking just about the same sort of team. All class, all hype, and well deserved after their victory at MSI, looking good in their first game of the LPL, or their new LPL season.
And I can only speculate from a King perspective. Maybe it's a visa issue because, of course, the two Korean players, very notable, aren't in. From what I understand, this roster and these whole changes by the Royal organization came quite late into the picture, so maybe they're just not ready to go at this point. But look, EDG's maybe not the best acid test for a team. First up, I mentioned it before, like they were always going to get outclassed whatever lineup they fielded. I would speculate there's going to need to be more time to cement. It'll be interesting to see if this is the same roster for King 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, well, indeed. Maybe even the next game, depending on who is available to play. But right now, it is all EDG all the time. Deft is on some sort of solo mission down in the bottom side because he doesn't have too much to worry about with plenty of good wards. Amazing J has a Blade of the Ruin King because sure, why not? He's a Jax player. He wants to go the Jax build.
It's the old Trinity Force into Blade of the Ruin King build. That part's very standard about top lane Fizz. The Smite, that's new. The fact that it's still being played after the changes, that's new as well. But it's still very, very effective.
Yeah, making it work here. 11-1-1. That inhib looking to fall down here. Deft aggressively forward. Point even going to come in. In fact, he's not even auto-attacking. He's busy trying to poke people with his Q.
With a short cooldown with CDR boots, there's no real need to auto-attack. Deft will do all the heavy lifting on that one. And it's just arrow after arrow.
Yeah, Pong going to fire them in here. One hell of a siege going to be set up now by EDG. And they might even just dive in. Binding almost hits their big poke there into Pong. They are going to try and fight World King, but QE far too low already as Deft gets himself his 6th kill of the game. Amazing J tries to launch a fish at Al, but he does escape it. But they're going to tank up the turret. Shockwave is available, but too hard to try and get a kill here. Everyone's scattered out nicely, and that's another inhibitor down.
Shockwave's a complete non-factor. There's no second AP item when the damage really starts going, or the utility. Caught between a Luden's Echo and just a Death Cap with those two purchases, the Blasting one and the Aether, where King are just watching, King are watching the clock, and there's nothing they can do.
They're dragging up in a minute 10. Flash forward there by Con. Signals the end of the game as King.
Things really start to go sideways with the Fizz top. We've seen I guess the Rek'Sai top will be the only other comparable pick. Keep it coming, EDG.
Yeah, LPL's been pretty good so far in its first week. We'll see what EDG or King might be able to do here. King on the blue side, of course, for this one. LeBlanc and Azir, their first two bans. Rek'Sai, Kalista going to join as well. So just strong champions being banned across the board.
See where the picks and bans go. We don't know too much about Bamey. I know he's a strong LeBlanc player, so it's an understandable ban. Alistair actually hits the pick and bans. Interesting to see if this is still the same story in a couple of weeks' time, but Alistair priority still very high.
Yep, high certainly on this patch. Gragas gets insta-locked there by King as Huey's going to have a run at that champion. Hecarim, the last ban there for EDG, will deny it from both Cola and Amazing J. And let's just sit back and see what EDG want to pick up here.
Yeah, I mean, the Fizz in the first rotation was surprising, but we kind of expected that even though Pawn loved the Fizz, it would probably be going somewhere other than mid. They're looking over Maokai, and I saw the grimace on your face. You don't want to see any Maokai shenanigans. It's probably going to be Maokai.
I mean, nobody wants to see Amazing J play Maokai, but that's what we've got here. Koro's on the bench, bring in the Amazing J Maokai, and Deft's going to go back to Sivir as well.
Remember, it could always be support Maokai.
It's true. That's true. We haven't seen the return of legendary support Maokai. Haven't seen it since Low left the OMG roster, but who knows? EDG certainly do some strange things sometimes. Coach Aaron has a lot of kooky strats cooked up, but Morgana Fizz already locked in for King. Korn's going to go back to Comfort.
Speaking of Comfort, Annie available. Was surprised to see it not locked in the first game. Annie against Morgana smells like a matchup that's not that optimal, but of course, you ever bait out that Black Shield, the same burst potential comes through. Sivir Annie is such a strong duo. The nerfs haven't come through on this patch. Clear Love Special could be in the works here. Evelyn is available. And it's locked.
Yep, Evelyn hit for Clear Love once again. His Game 5 winning champion from MSI and a love of his for so long here. And Mako going to go back to Comfort for himself as well, back on the Annie.
And look, 4 picks have only been locked in, but let me tell you, there's one theme that comes together that really meshes this team together. If it had a title, it would be called Everyone Get In Here.
Yes, lots of engage there for EDG. We talked about Sivir being the ignition energy. Yeah, the go button, the ignition energy for moving all these big tanks and engage tools in. Exactly the same thing here as we look at King. We've got the Vayne locked in actually for Ao, and they're considering a Gnar into the Maokai matchup as well. That'll be a fine top lane matchup, but Vayne had not that much success here, and that's going to be Gnar as well. But King, that is a very fragile looking lineup.
It's a daring Vayne pick. Again, a no wave clear, double assassin. I mean, Vayne's not a true assassin, but a single target, high damage threat. Fizz doesn't offer much of that sort of threat either in terms of wave clear. EDG, they could go for a skill matchup, or they could just pick Lulu to have all the wave clear in the world. That's not porn.
No, that isn't porn, but Mako going to have a bit of fun with the fans. I think Bambi's going to pick something that gets in there. Lulu, bit surprising to me, but I guess it does make sense with the rest of the comp.
Julian, pastry time car.
Yes.
Everyone is going to get in there.
Yes, that is exactly what will happen as Bambi picks up Lulu for his last pick here. I guess my biggest concern for EDG, just looking at a glance at the lineups, is where's the damage coming from?
It's not a high damage lineup, but they've got wave clear, they've got pick potential, they're strong in the mid game. This is once again going to be similar to the previous game where they didn't
for our final game of the evening. Still one day of this week left of the LPL, of course, tomorrow, but EDG versus Kingfine. Eggwood Gaming up a game after a blisteringly fast first game here in Clearlove over on the fancy new Thiefy Evelyn. Going to be seeing what he can get done. And again, favorite champions across the board for a lot of the players actually here. And King will see if they can even up against a strong-looking EDG despite some substitutions.
I'm spying onto the rune page that Clearlove was running. Don't see the official rune page, but I can see 32 AP and 67 AD. So he's running the very heavy AD AP rune page. Flat stats just to increase the jungle clear. After the extra 10 flat damage onto hate spikes at level 1. Since, of course, the MSI patch, Jungle Evelyn's already got a faster clear. When you add those flat stats, she can be blisteringly fast. Only the removal of Spirit Stone has truly trivialized Evelyn as a jungler, because although she has very weak base stats, Spirit Stone kind of made it so that her very high damage output gave her sustainability. Now she's going to fall low, but she's going to power farm the jungle.
And that's sort of what you have to do in the early stages anyway, because I think you described her yesterday as a brittle jungler when Kakao played her. You die quickly, but if you clear them quickly, hopefully you don't die quite as fast.
And the extra 10 damage and the flat runes will help in that particular regard. It has already skilled Q. Some people speculate that skilling E first, just because you get, if you're on the other side, if you start the Krugs, then of course you get the stun so often with the extra attack speed. Given that you're starting the Gromp, probably makes sense to start Q. Gonna fall low as Clearlovers want to do on the Evelyn, but will power farm.
Yeah, just gonna Q through these creeps as fast as you can. Huey going to try a similar thing here on the Gragas, starting Krugs with a bit of help from his bottom lane and moving into his red. So both junglers will start and end on the same side of the jungle here. And 2v2 lanes once again. Deft and Mako, they love going in on level 1, and Mako is already starting to try and punish.
That's the funny thing. It was the level 2 engage last time. We see level 1 already the damage starts. Level 1 engages have happened before in EDG games. We'll famously remember Deft playing Twitch and basically both sides being completely chunked out before minions even broke. Level 2 will be hitting the next minion, and we'll see if the all-in is on.
I mean, this is basically what EDG did in the last game here, and it's so smart. Get an advantage level 1, force them off, and just make sure you reach level 2 first. Every dual lane wants to win there as Bambi. Going to get aggressed on here. Huey going to come through. Good flash share to dodge the slow, and a bit of Glitter Lance damage coming through as well. But a knock-up is going to come in from the body slam, and Bambi already feeling some early pressure.
He's taken the aggressive Ignite summon as well. Try and have kill pressure onto this Fizz so it doesn't have a barrier, for example, to be defensive. Flashes down, gonna have to watch his positioning in lane with lots of gank pressure from Gragas.
Unfortunately for EDG, bottom lane just gonna have to be a bit of extra pressure. Just the edge of the boomerang blade there for hours. He does tumble out of the first bit
Ricochet
of damage.
too.
Yeah, I mean, there's some damage coming through here, but EDG probably not gonna tower dive at level 2.
Yeah, Deft actually takes a turret hit because another Ricochet bounces twice, then hits Ao. He's so low in lane. No sustain going to come through from Morgana. Maybe has to use the heal preemptively for a bit of sustain, because if he tries to use it reactively, there is 100% going to be Ignite riding on his back.
Yeah, Deft has got that killer instinct now with that flash, and all the summoner spells up mean that you don't want to make any mistakes, because you misuse one of those spells and somebody's going to die on the bottom side. Both junglers on the top side mean there are no dives or ganks coming through.
And actually a very smart ward, just because of the reduced vision of trinket wards. You have to be a bit more creative with their placement. They know that Huey's in that brush. Interested to see if any action spawns in the mid lane.
Flash forward there. There's the first blood for Deft, and Mako pulls the trigger instantly. Huey going to die as well as Bambi gets the kill. Clearlove's around. Korn will get the kill onto Bambi, but Clearlove going to try and chase in. Urchin Strike going to keep him alive, but Clearlove, good counter gank, gets the 1v1 trade.
2 for 1 is the trade, and that's why I say use the heal proactively. Usually it feels bad to sustain yourself with summoner heal, but you have to do it when Flash, Ignite, and a stun is available on a support Annie. You take the case, you went for the Vayne against Sivir, you take the consequences.
Yeah, and you can see why Mako's Annie is so feared and revered by so many players here in the LPL, especially combined with Deft. If they find a single second to kill you, they will do it.
And it's just not being respected. Remember, it was banned, I believe, 9 games in a row between World Elite, Invictus Gaming, and some of the tail-end games of the LPL Spring Split. This is something to be feared. Maybe on 5.9 you can argue that some of the auto attacks won't be there, so you won't be as chipped down, the all-in won't be as strong. But I have I'm going to be a betting man and say that Mako will still find a way to make Annie work.
I mean, you know what? All of the spells still in there, and he's still got the Great Engage, so I think so, as well as Huey does spot the Trinket Ward there that Bamey just placed down, but a good pink ward going to keep him relatively safe as Korn returns with a fairly even CS score in the mid lane.
I mean, 22 to 27 with Flash being down early just shows the strength of Lulu's wave clear. Has had to respect this Gragas, and Huey's been pitching a tent in the mid lane, but no massive kill pressure being calmed. There's a 1-for-1 trade. Korn has double buffs, so Bamey just has to play passively.
Good bit of poke, but going to try and wave clear it back out as well. Actually tags him with the end of a Glitter Lancer as Def comes in and stops Al from freezing this wave any longer.
No free autos.
Yeah, no free minions either here as Def going in. They're actually trading a little unfavorably there with the level 2 silver bolts, but without Mako here, especially with Morgana coming back, a bit trickier for him to go all in like that.
And he's going to have re-enter lane. No Flash and Ignite available, but will be soon. They're going in aggressively.
Yeah, Mako really wants a good binding from Sync Dream to keep him back there, but Mako, again, he's never afraid to go in. Doesn't even have his flash, but he is walking towards you aggressively, and look at that damage. Goes in so far just for poke. In fact, there's the Ignite down as well. Mako, maybe a bit too far. There's the first kill for Owen. That was a mistake.
That was just lazy play from Mako. He's being overly aggressive to a fault and paid for it. Korn is trying to go in aggressively, but he's being baited.
Clearlove's level 6, Huey's here as well, but so is Clearlove. Good fish from Korn's going to give the kill. Now it's 1v2 for Clearlove. Going to try and get the damage done with Evelyn, but doesn't have enough, and a beautiful counter gank by Huey.
The Agony's Embrace was available, but crucially, the Wild Growth was not from Lulu's. They get the kill and get out. Well played, King. EDG, they're playing a bit too cute, and finally, King have found a way to punish them.
Yeah, Huey on the Gragas getting a lot of early work done here, and the misstep in the bottom side means that Deft is going to go in 1v2, has that spell shield ready, but doesn't quite fancy it at this point. Doesn't have very much mana left here, so has to be a bit careful. Probably baiting Sync Dream just for a bit of extra mana, but Al, he'll play it safe here. He knows he already got an advantage, doesn't want to throw it away.
Absolutely. He's finally got a window back into this lane. He never got one in game 1. He was basically gifted one for some poor play from Mako. He's just going to be smartly back, work towards his Bilgewater Cutlass, you'd have to imagine. Not a lot of power there, so maybe just a couple of longswords, but no, just a Vampiric Scepter. Definitely not a big buy like the pickaxe that Civ has already picked up.
Bamey going to keep wave clearing there as well. Actually has an early null magic mantle, so wants to shake off some of the early fizz damage. Kong with a Shane is going to start doing respectable burst in the lane there as well. And you can see Al going to go back, get a Vampiric Scepter. That's a nice little pickup, but Double Dorans is a bit of an emergency build, and I can't blame him after the first all-in.
Exactly. It's full sustain build to what, 16% lifesteal if he's not being harassed, but we're not talking about poke trades. It's going to be all-in trades. The moment that 6 is pinged on Mako, you expect the Flash Tibbers to come through. Bamey can obviously naturally itemize a null magic mantle towards what will be an Athene's for cooldown reduction in the mid. So just starting with the expensive purchase, going to work on that mana regen later.
Good stuff there coming in from Bamey is Clearlove still level 7 now. Actually finished his Rangers Trailblazer plus the Warrior Enchant, so ready to get aggressive as he wants.
He's the same level as everyone else, as the Solus.
Oh, Clearlove gets fished there. Korn, good flash there after. Clearlove going to get cleanly 1v1, trying to clear a pink ward. Very smart stuff from Korn.
Yeah, smart play from Korn. This is not a Korn that we saw throughout the LPL Spring whatsoever. Much more aggression, controlled aggression as well. Playing a champion like Fizz, much more proactive than some of the Luxes and Orianas of the world that he played both last game and traditionally last season. Good to see.
And he was a classic Fizz player for a long time. They're up there with White's, the old school Fizz player, back from the old Royal Club actually that Korn used to be on. So he does know the champion. It's one of his favorites, I believe, but I agree. I like seeing him back on the Assassins.
It doesn't necessarily fit the comp that well, so there may be a tipping point where the lack of wave clear will be punished, but even getting to feast on the high-leveled Clearlove, picking up quite a lot of experience and gold from that particular kill credit. Things working out so far for Korn.
Mako level 6, so might just go straight in on the bottom lane. Huey looking for another gank here, but isn't quite going to find it. Bamey with the ulti and the flash up. Going to be a pretty tricky person to kill, but I think he wants to kill Clearlove.
Huey doesn't spot him out, of course, not Rek'Sai, so no tremor senses available. They scurry past each other like Sails in the wind, is that
Yes.
the term? I guessed that one. Went for it.
Yep, that's fine. Nailed it. As Con is going to look in again. I like this move from King. Is Bamey going to be the target? Actually, Clearlove also there, but now Korn's going to catch him out. Good ulti there. Going to split Clearlove up. Agony's Embrace does work, though, and Clearlove gets his revenge, gets the kill onto Huey. Going to chase Korn down here now as well. That's massive damage with the Warrior, and you can see Evelyn does not muck about. Good ult there from Bamey, and he's going to secure himself a kill.
Surprising that Korn couldn't find a way out. It looked like he was going to juke towards the blue buff, but still punished from Bamey. Very nice set of kills. And that's what happens when you have the Warrior enchant. Suddenly the damage goes up and skyrockets for Clearlove on the Evelyn.
And I feel like it's been a while since people played against Warrior enchant, but Evelyn especially, so much early damages. Def could be in trouble. Good flash and the ulti used, but ow! Gonna go in, gets the kill, maybe Mako comes in, heal at the last second, saves Deft, and now Sync Dream gonna get chased down, and Deft always on point with summoner spells.
Deft is the god of summoner spells. You never think he has them. You don't think they're up because it's literally as the auto attack is traveling that he pulls off that heal. A lot of players have been guilty of just going for the auto they know will kill that Vayne or whatever champion Deft is on, or walk backwards and then go, wait, he's still alive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened there. Mako coming in with a clutch ulti there as well on the Annie to buy them enough time, and Deft, I thought he was dead there once again, going to give away a kill, but instead finds himself 2-0 up in the lane.
Gets a snowball Avarice Blade. Didn't have enough gold for the BS, so it's an Avarice Blade pick, so Avarice Gold boots. It's not the biggest power jump, but it's a bit more fun.
I think he's saving gold actually, because he went. That was his last pickup, I believe. So again, going for the early Avarice Blade. Doesn't quite have enough for big ticket items, but we'll be there soon enough, especially if that keeps happening.
Korn just out of vision of that Trinket Ward. Hasn't been spotted. Now it's spotted.
Yeah, Amazing J. Good sapling going to keep him safe, but being a little down here in the matchup. Hex Drinker for the Nard, just a Catalyst double door into Amazing J. Yeah, needs to be careful. Amazing J pops his ulti, does keep them away. Clearlove running in as well. Mako's actually navigated to the top side of the map as well, so Amazing J very safe with all his friends joining him in the top lane.
And that's the thing, you look at these members, we've got Mobility Boots, Annie, Whimsy that Lulu can apply to herself, and Evelyn is already super quick and just use that W. Doesn't need to be invisible when she's trying to provide emergency assistance. Lots of speed ups means that EDG can be ever present across the map.
Yeah, and Deft 1v2 right now, was comfy in the 1v1. Now Mako with the Moby Boots ticking away, going to run down to the bottom side. Yep, no ulti, that's important, but does have a stun ready to go. Does want to use it, actually gets onto Sync Dream, forces the Black Shield out. Evelyn's here as well. Sync Dream takes way too much damage. Al gets Agony's Embrace with a beautifully placed ult by Clearlove, who gets the second kill.
Clearlove is making this Evelyn work. This was never his MO. Actually has a Sheen for more damage on top of the Warrior. Not going for a random in second or any semblance of tankiness. Trinity Force may be too expensive, maybe too much of a luxury build, but still a possibility.
I mean, we'll see, but it's paying off nicely so far with the Warrior enchant and the Sheen. Going to mean good dragon damage now as well, as EDG will take away their first. And I think Clearlove feels offended getting killed for the first time there in the game, because he's gone back with a vengeance now. 2-1-3 in this game.
And often Evelyn is typified as a low damage champion. In the late game, it's potential just because she's a melee champion that needs time to do consistent damage. But if you build enough damage, whether it's Trinity Force or full ability power, which we're probably not going to see given the Warrior enchant, you do a lot of mid-game damage.
You do, and it's nice. She's relatively tanky, does still do sustained damage though, but put that out the window for now. Clearlove's just all early game damage so far. Again, junglers have not been playing Warrior for the last few weeks, almost 2 months it feels like, so bringing them back. You mentioned it yesterday, I believe, as Warrior starts to fade back and people have to relearn. You die really quickly to these high damage junglers.
You have to relearn warding against Evelyn. You need to relearn Alistair's strengths and weaknesses. That's what the meta changes. That's why League of Legends is such a fascinating game, is that champions that don't necessarily have target buffs or nerfs just pop up again. You're like, wait, why was this person good? What did we do against them? And it takes time for teams to pick up on that because they've seen so much of the Maokais versus the world. We've all seen Azir versus Xerath for a good 3 months and far too long in the middle lane. But it's going to be Trinity Force from Clearlove. You asked where the damage is going to come from. This is a carry build from Clearlove, and he's got the Whimsy, he's got the wild growth potential in his pocket to just be a melee assassin.
Love to see it there from Clearlove. Going carry mode here in this game. Done it before from the jungle, sometimes on the tanks, just as some big plays on the ultis like Sejuani, but love that he's really putting the team on his back here. And EDG find themselves about 2,500, 3,000 gold ahead as Korn. Going to get himself a blue buff, but no other major objectives to take right now.
You were correct. There's the Berserker Grease and the BF Sword now finished for Def, so he was saving gold, has enough for that big purchase. Al went for the big plays. He went for the Vayne, and it looked good at some points. He got that nice kill onto Deft, but a nice kill onto Mako, but 1-3 and 0, and now with the item disadvantage, probably just no way back into this lane.
Yeah, it was a bit of a full Vayne moment there for Al, but Def with some very strong use of summoner spells, able to give himself the kill and the advantage. You can see the dual lane for King are constantly leaving here as EDG going to start to rotate down and take some turrets. Clearlove might have caught out someone, does get spotted off by the ward there as Sync Dream just envisioned, so at least get the notification. And we'll back away from Clearlove. Clearlove
just keeps power farming, gets the Krugs through quite happily. Amazing J happened quite frequently, is all alone.
Gonna get dove again here. Ulti
wow.
dodged there by Twisted Advance. Amazing J does get fish, so ulti ticking away. Still not quite enough as Kohler taking up the turrets, and he does go down, but he deserves so much credit for that play.
The split timing to Twisted Advance to go untied.
Oh, goodbye, Al. Clearlove gets the kill. Even through the condemn, and towers are falling left, right, and center, by the way. Amazing J buys so much time with that play.
It was just such split timing. You're untargetable for, what, half a second or less during that Twisted Advance? Made it look easy.
He did indeed. An Amazing J continuing to make amazing plays here. It's not Fizz this time, but Maokai 0-1 and 0. Not a massive score. 142 CS in a slightly soft matchup for you. Or slightly hard matchup for you, I should say, there with the Nah. Not the best score ever, but he'll take it, even on a role player like Maokai.
And that's the thing. The unique thing about Amazing J is that he can make plays on champions that we've seen so often. How many times do we get excited about a Maokai play? Maybe a very smart strategic play like a teleport, home guard, engage. But in terms of lane mechanics, we've seen a couple of times Twisted Advance come up big. That's the big outplay mechanic, and he just did it perfect.
He did indeed, as Clearlove going to power down his red buff now as well. Deft is rotating back into the top side, going to take that last turret. They've got 3 already with 1 in the mid and 2 in the bottom, and it's back to Corky rotations here for EDG, just with Sivir instead.
It's the global gold that's the big winner for EDG. It's 6,000 gold, even though the kill score is quite similar. It's only a dragon in the pocket of EDG, but 3 turrets to 1 is the big factor. And Clearlove is huge. He's the highest level in the game, joint with Bayming.
I mean, Clearlove does get a lot of gold from his team, but this is a whole different take on giving Clearlove a lot of gold.
And that's the thing. He has a very high KDA, so it'd be easy to say, okay, he's got a lot of gold because he gets a lot of kills and assists. But it's actually a high amount of percentage gold. It's not the Clearlove of old that used to just pick up lane farm like maybe Diamond many years ago. He actually just gets it stealthily, just picks up a couple of creeps here and there, but it adds up. He gets a high percentage of gold, but he knows how to use it, whether it's the Sejuani or a true carry, melee carry performance like this. Giving gold to Clearlove, it's always been a good strategy, and EDG have found a way to do it without actually holding back their game plan and still playing objective-focused League of Legends.
They have, and a lot of that for me is Pawn's really just intelligent and creative play, and Bayming playing a similar sort of utility style role again. Not to say that Pawn also can't hard carry games, and that's the scary thing for EDG. It's just threats across the board, and even these new substitutes looking rather threatening as well.
You just look back at those games and you wonder, when did Clearlove get this gold? It's literally when Pawn packs up shop level 9 and says, I'm going to roam with Cassin on a Sheen. He roams so much, and that's when Clearlove picks up the farm. But they get things off the roams. They're smart about communication. They're very good at using their targeted CC. A lot of Maokai, no coincidence there. You can make a lot of things happen with the targeted Twisted Advance. And that works for EDG. They get that little bit of an edge on their jungler. He wins the duels when he chooses to play aggressively. Always been a smart, clever player. The aggressive side is what's coming out, and it's exciting to see.
It is, and with Dragon up in 30 seconds or so, it's a good time to check in on some of these items. We've got a Righteous Glory done for Amazing J, along with the Merc Treads. Trinity Force already done at 18.5 minutes. That's better than most 80 carry item timings for that.
Well, I mean, Vayne doesn't have a blade.
No, Vayne's in trouble here, as Deft is just going to ultimate down. Can't quite see it. There's Mako with a pink one. Comes in with a stun. Goodbye, Al. And that's an easy dragon for Edward Gaming.
Very, very easy. Clearlove is so strong, so strong. You cannot face check whether it's the Annie or the Evelynn. The burst damage will be off the charts. Full damage Clearlove on Evelynn. Much more fun than the build. He was forced to break out at MSI.
It is, but just watch this dragon melt as well. Huey going to be in the area, maybe think about a contest, but very scary to fight EDG at this stage of the game. And Clearlove gets on top of the dragon and just eats it.
Absolutely. We're talking about 500 damage every 3 seconds when the Trinity Force proc comes off, and the Warrior enchantment, even more damage on those Triforce buffed auto attacks. They keep pushing in. Everyone get in here was the summary, and that's exactly what's been happening.
That is indeed. Mako's Annie usually signals one thing, and it's aggression, and everything else on this team supplements it. And EDG Are they seriously going to walk over to Baron?
Righteous Glory. I mean, Evelyn's very quick. Whimsy will help. Sivir with the on the hunt. 4-0-1 casually is death after Mako donated a kill to Vayne earlier in the matchup. Honestly, Korn's performed very, very well. It's going to be one of those situations where Fed Fizz, what's a boy to do against this comp?
I mean, Def's going to go back to the top side. Blue will get stolen away. Huey going to try and make something happen, but Mako throws in a stun. That's a good ulti, actually. Clearlove will get caught there. Korn finds a fish onto Bamey. Clearlove little too far forward maybe here. Baron does spawn there, but Cola building up rage here. Def, though, too threatening with the Infinity Edge and the Zeal plus Avarice Blade already. And King almost had a good window there.
And no teleport used from Maokai either. They're finally going to take this last outer turret to move up to 4 turrets all in all. They already have an inner turret in the bottom lane. Mason J keeps pushing quite happily. The recalls are on, I imagine, for gold values, but Vayne just try and cause as much disruption in mid lane and try and get some turret damage. Nope, not safe.
Yeah, Luden's done for Bamey. Ninja Tubby there coming through for Clearlove. Deft not quite going back, but probably has enough for at least the static shift now as well. Everyone is picking up some items, and I wasn't kidding when I said Baron before. EDG usually like taking around 25 minutes. I would not be surprised to see them run there.
Hard to take Baron without Maokai actually being there to tank it up, and once Maokai exits the map, it's going to be why is the teleport grouped? That's the big question mark there. Because Clearlove's gone full damage build, the jungler's not really in a position to take Baron as he just eliminates the Raptor.
I mean, he's going to destroy the Baron if he gets on top of it, but you're right. Needs someone to help tank it. Baron does do pretty silly damage, but EDG, they don't need much to try and take a Baron, as they might even go for Huey here, but instead, he's going to clear out some vision, and King know it. They're like, we really need to get vision around Baron.
I mean, the sneakiest thing that EDG could do is literally to Tibbers the Baron, have that tank it, and they have so much damage they could probably kill it during the duration of the super tanky Tibbers, specifically around level 11, because I believe level on level you get 1,000 extra health on the Tibbers. Very relevant when it's tanking Baron.
I want that so bad now.
Is that what you want to see?
That's all I want to see. I don't think I've ever seen that one before, but that's all I want now. Is another tower. It does go down to EDG. They've got plenty of vision here. They actually spotted Korn, I believe, hanging out a little too far in the enemy jungle. So we'll see if they can catch someone out. And even Huey looking to ward Korn. He wants to flank this.
Absolutely. Korn's looking for any exit kill. He knows red buff spawns, so someone's going to walk up there for the red buff. But EDG, will it be Deft?
I mean, Deft is going to face Jake Mako in there as well. Korn, oh, good ward there. Great dodge there. Deft quite dodged it, actually, but the spell shield, I think, ate a good wild growth there from Bamey, and Korn is going to go down there. Cola hopping in as well. Flash out from Clearlove. He's too low. Will go down there to the Gragas. As now Al popped his ulti, going to go back in. Cola, massive flash ult there. Gets onto 2. Deft turns around. He wants it. He's going to go in. Does get the kill onto Al. Stays alive somehow, and Mako kiting as best he can with the help of Bamey. Tibbers also trying to help him out. Mako gets low, might go down here. Deft still chasing in. The shields from Bamey doing so much work. Amazing J's poured it in as well. Deft flashes out of the boomerang, gets the fadeaway kill, and an amazing team fight from Edward Gaming.
And 4v5 right till the last was that team fight. Amazing J, even with teleport, couldn't get anywhere near the fight. Finally showed up just to put the cherry on top. EDG win another fight. Just again, majestic use of the summoners from Deft. They pile on the gold. We're going to see the replay coming through. Deft actually spell shields nothing at all. The engage almost takes him down, but of course Wild Growth adds all the effective health. Weaves in and out, getting extra health. Remember, Maokai's not involved in this fight at this present point.
Clearlove's dead.
And Clearlove's already dead. It was actually looking a bit hairy, but they turn back onto Al after a huge Nara ultimate. Watch this trade from Deft. He loses vision, but managed to just get vision at the last. No critical strike coming through from this build. I mean, he's able to live, and finally Maokai slowly lumbers in. It's health bars, but Mako, watch the pathing. He's very clever and moving around, just baiting Cola in as much as possible. Even Deft has to flash away. He would have died to that boomerang toss. Beautiful, beautiful team fighting from EDG.
It was just elegant and lovely to behold here. It's 10,000 gold now at EDG ahead. Dragons up in a minute 20, but after that, I don't know what else we can have to top this game, Papa Smithy, because that was a gorgeous team fight.
The scary thing is that King haven't even played badly. They've played quite well. They were probably too reckless in their bottom lane choice, but maybe you need to be brazen and try and take it to death rather than just passively losing in this lane. No pick available from Mako in that situation. I'm not a big fan of the no wave clear. If they'd gone for a more standard AD carry like a Lucian, for example, I think it would have done well, but there's Whimsy.
Clearlove touching in. Whimsy not enough as Clearlove gets ulted out by Huey. Amazing J runs through. Def pops his ulti, but EDG will this time find no kills.
Al wasn't actually there. Would have been a 5v4 if they were able to force it. Very good strategic use of the Black Shield. Clearlove still looking for an engage.
He's going to find Sync Dream, but does get spotted out there. Instant Black Shield from Sync Dream as Smart and King just cleaning vision out of their own jungle now.
For once, EDG's wave's not very well organized. Owl's been able to slow push in mid. The bottom wave's actually pushing towards EDG's turrets, so that's good for King. They've organized a minion wave push in top, and they're just poking around mid, trying to get some sort of pick around Baron.
Yeah, EDG are aggressively forcing a fight here. They want King to come to them because they know they're strong enough to win a team fight. Owl desperately trying to find farm instead, and the blue buff's going to get stolen away.
Blue buff stolen away, but still no Titanic advantage to EDG. They have the goal, but they're still trying to be clever about how they force a fight. In and out. Looks like a couple of connection problems, though, and a pause has been engaged.
Yep, so we have a bit of time as the breaks go off ever so slightly from what's been a pretty hectic series, honestly. Not even just a game here in the second one. Clearlove looking very focused as always there, in charge of his team and himself.
I mean, going for the carry build on Evelynn looked good at the start, although does have that propensity to explode if you don't get enough of the members of Agony's Embrace. It adds effective health depending on how many members you hit. I believe at this point, 225 health a member. Looking a lot of aggression. Righteous Glory pops.
Amazing J finds Cola, but he's sort of caught out on his own here. Doesn't go in any deeper though, and with the Dragon back up here, EDG might just try and force for their third. They really want King to fight them.
I mean, third Dragon, 5% more movement speed with a million movement speed augmenters will be very, very relevant. They've started the Dragon. It's on King on whether they want to fight, but they don't have a lot of good team fight initiating options, and they just have to back away.
Yeah, can't really fight that one. Clearlove will have a smite back up in about 10 seconds as well, and so King are going to go back to the Baron dance here, and they can't keep bleeding objectives here. Third Dragon's not too bad to give away, but King, they're starting to run out of options. They, in fact, may have already be in that situation.
It's definitely the closest feeling 10,000 gold lead we've seen in the 2015 season. Looking for the pick on Amazing J.
That's a lot of good damage. King starting it off nicely. Cola, Rage Buff
Evelynn's
builds up.
coming in.
Oh, Death's flanking as well. Clearlove trying to find the target. Ulti is popped. Three-man Agony's Embrace. Clearlove destroys that carry. Korn goes down. Cola's in the back line trying to die, but they're kiting wonderfully, and Owl can't do anything against the Evelynn as Bamey flashes in for a slow. Cola's dead there as well. The last one to fall is Huey. No, Sync Dream, I tell a lie. Still alive, but 4-for-0. What a close there by Edward Gaming.
Everyone got in there instantly with the Righteous Glory Whimsy. Just the W from Evelynn. The burst damage onto Owl was disgusting. It prompts the surrender. Feels a little bit early, but honestly, it was going to be another win from EDG.